Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy JD. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having a great week so far. In this episode, boy, is there a lot to talk about. And trust me, you're going to want to hear it all. The clown world, well, it's getting pretty insane. First and foremost, we're going to be starting off with a viral segment from Talk TV where the host brilliantly shuts down an LGBTQ plus activist after the wrong pronouns were used. Then a report has come in claiming that a 4-day work week is heavily offensive and could discriminate against different groups of people. The NAIA has made a shocking move that has definitely upset a load of woke liberals out there because they have now banned men from competing in women's US collegiate sports. And finally, according to a UN climate advisor, apparently natural disasters are the white man's fault. Just like everything else, I really do apologize. Now, before we get into it, as always, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description, and let's start off with this viral segment from Talk TV. Now, this was all based around the recent Dr. Hillary Cass review that has just come out. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, and it really exposes the harm children have gone through because of gender ideology. And a debate took place between Julia Hartley-Brewer, who was the host of this segment, and a non-binary trans journalist.
What?
And well, this is how it started.
My next guest, who is Shivani Dave. She is a journalist and a presenter at Virgin Radio, just down the corridor. Good afternoon to you, Shivani.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Thanks.
You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar. So the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person, and you're a female person. So I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
Do what you like, I guess.
Well, there you are. You didn't need to tell me then, did you?
Maybe I'm just making sure people know in case they're watching and they want to refer to me respectfully.
Is it disrespectful for me to use correct factual grammar?
It's not incorrect or unfactual grammar to use singular they them pronouns for an individual. But we're here to talk about the Cass review.
Yeah, but you chose to bring it up.
You chose to use the incorrect pronouns for me.
I chose to use the correct pronouns for a single woman who is appearing on my show.
I'm not a single woman, though. I'm a very special non-binary trans person, as you just pointed out. I
didn't
really
just
want to
point
stand
that
out.
out.
In the crowd.
I didn't just point that out. I introduced you as a journalist and a Virgin Radio presenter.
No, just before I came on, you were talking about how people with all these labels like to be special. And I'm just making sure that everyone knows I'm special.
Okay, I'm not special. I'm just a boring old heterosexual married woman. But, you know, sorry about that. We're not allowed to do that anymore. In fact, that probably does make me special now. I don't know. Anyway, Shivani, we're colleagues, and I obviously want to treat respect. But again, for me, respect works both ways, and that also requires people on both sides to be respectful of people's willingness to not want to tell lies or to be dishonest to themselves. So we'll have to respect each other's views on this.
I'm a special non-binary trans person. I've never heard anyone say it like that. I think Julia handled that very well. You know, as soon as it began, the journalist, the non-binary trans journalist, I do apologize, made the groundbreaking announcement of what pronouns they use, and Julia, well, she wasn't having it. You can't force people to ignore their own eyes and their own thoughts, not only lie to themselves, but of course everybody else watching as well. And the person who wants the individual to use the right pronouns, because obviously you aren't a they/them, that would be lying to you. You are a woman, which is why I say these allies who reaffirm everybody aren't actually allies, because they're lying to people when they clap and cheer for somebody coming out as the opposite gender or whatever. We need to start telling the truth. And in this case, of course, this person has probably placed themselves on a higher pedestal than everyone else, and the truth, they need to let everybody know how special they are because they are a non-binary trans person.
What?
You're not more special than anybody else for identifying that way, by the way. I just tell you that for a fact. And you know what? It's kind of crazy, man, because as soon as the interview starts, she's trying to force language onto Julia. I use they/them pronouns. You don't get to force language onto somebody and then just move on like nothing happened. Julia disagrees with you, and boy, well, is she gonna let you know? Leave your thoughts down below on that clip, ladies and gentlemen. I'm interested to see what you guys Think about it. Now, this next strange report we're going to be talking about, it just kind of sums up how people think towards certain, actually not certain, all situations in life right now, and it's all to do with a 4-day work week, which has become a hot topic within the UK, I think in America as well. But the Welsh Labour government have posted this report claiming that a 4-day work week could be racist and discriminates against ethnic groups. A report by the Welsh Labour government has decreed that a 4-day work week might be racist as they discriminate against ethnic minority groups in frontline public sector roles. A trial which will start after a consultation that took a year in Wales will see the working hours of some public sector staff cut by 1/5 with no reduction in salary. Artificial intelligence, AI, could lower workloads for staff and mean they are less likely to suffer from burnout, but the 4-day work week that results could exacerbate existing inequalities between office-based and frontline workers. The reduced week could indirectly discriminate against ethnic minority groups that work in parts of the public sector which operates 24/7, but white-collar workers could benefit more. The kind of workers who would be hit negatively by the 4-day work week are not listed in the report. So I think it's pretty obvious what I'm going to say now. What about the white people who are working in the public sector that operates 24/7? Any consideration given there? Oh yeah, obviously not. Now, yes, there is an argument to make that, ethnic groups work a lot of the frontline jobs, but these jobs can't be squeezed, a lot of them anyways, can't be squeezed into a 4-day work week. You can't have, for example, let's say, nurses or carers just turning up from Monday to Thursday. When people work fewer hours, less gets done and less progress is made in certain industries. So it wouldn't surprise me if this had a hit on the economy and then pay cuts would come around, and the Welsh Labour government have decided to make it about discrimination. Why not? And for me, I don't know how you guys feel about it all, but I just think in general, society, especially within the UK and the US, people want to work less and less. We have become a lazy population. Let's be real about it. People don't have the drive, the passion to work the jobs they're in right now. And I think, people have just become so demoralized with everything. Everything is so miserable, especially in the UK right now. People just don't have the motivation to go ahead and work like they once did. And maybe that's because as a society, when we progress, technology gets better, whatever, everything is at a click of a button. We have everything we want. The drive to go out and work for something, it's just naturally going to become less and less. In certain countries in the world, working every day would be a blessing. But within our countries, people hate the thought of working all the time. And yeah, of course, rest is essential. Taking time off is key. But if people got all these extra days off, what are they going to do with them anyway? Just think about the average person today. They're just going to sit around, watch TV, scroll on social media, do nothing. Time off is important, but what you do with it is even more important. And because people wouldn't do anything productive with that time, years and years ago, when times, let's say, were a lot harder, people had to work 6 days a week. Could you imagine that now? Yeah, the woke snowflakes would cry. Therapy numbers through the roof. But what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you agree with a 4-day work week? Do you think it would discriminate against ethnic groups? I'd like to know. So the NAIA have shocked a lot of people, especially the woke liberals out there who I imagine aren't sleeping too well because of this news, but they have now banned trans athletes, so men identifying as women, from going into women's sports at a collegiate level. Now, we all know the issue women's sports is facing in general with men identifying as women, going into their sports, taking places, awards away, dominating in some cases, injuring the women. They shouldn't be going through that, and it's effectively cheating. And the NAIA have said, well, hey, look, we also agree with that. Men aren't competing in women's sports any longer. The NAIA bans transgender athletes in US collegiate sports. The National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics on Monday banned transgender women from competing in women's sports, taking a more hardline stance than other athletic bodies that allow trans athletes to compete based on testosterone levels. The NAIA, representing small colleges, is less influential than the larger National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA, but its decision carries some political weight in the wider US debate about transgender rights. Only NAIA student athletes whose biological sex is female may participate in NAIA-sponsored female sports, the association said in its policy. Female athletes who have begun masculinizing hormone therapy may participate in internal workouts, practices, and team activities, but are banned from external competition. Any eligible athlete may participate in men's sports, the policy said. The vote by the association's Council of Presidents was 20-0, ESPN reported. Kelly Robertson, president of the Human Rights Campaign, which advocates for LGBTQ rights, criticized the policy as a cowardly decision that enables discrimination. Of course she said that. But again, we see the buzzword discrimination come out, but I just say to her in response, what about all the women who have had their places taken away, their awards taken away, money, opportunities taken away, and even being injured because of these men identifying as women coming into their sports? Is that not discrimination? And I can guarantee you, this woman probably weekly complains about the patriarchy and how men are doing XYZ and it's so wrong, yet she's okay with men going into women's sports and destroying the competition. Doesn't really make sense. These woke liberals never make sense. But the vote was 20-0, 20-0, so not even one person objected to this. And I think that just shows you things are slowly starting to turn, and this is down to everybody exposing this situation going on. And this organization doing this puts huge pressure on the NCAA. I believe Riley Gaines and other women have sued the NCAA because of the situation that took place involving Leah Thomas and accusing them of violating their Title IX rights by allowing him to compete in the national championships back in 2022. So perhaps there will be a change there if the NCAA also change their policies. You know, we would really start to see huge moves being made here. But with the NAIA making this change to their policy, it's great that women who are competing in their events won't have to worry about dudes rocking up and, you know, destroying everything. I know it only represents smaller colleges and they're less influential than the NCAA, but it's still great to hear that women out there will now be able to play the sport they love without worrying about, you know, woke culture intervening as it always does with everything else. It's been going on for far too long. We all know this, and common sense, well, it needs to return. But finally, ladies and gentlemen, and it doesn't get any better, but I guess this is another example of why common sense needs to return. A UN climate advisor has gone viral after they blamed natural disasters on white men. End wokeness goes on to say on X. UN climate advisor Aisha Siddiqa blames natural disasters on white men. And this is what they have said back in 2021. We'll get into the recent clip that has gone around, but she goes on to say, "I am not an activist. I am a killjoy. I am what reminds white supremacy of its present-day wretchedness. It is my job to make clear that in the process of and consuming non-white, non-male bodies, the white man has brought life as we know it to the verge of extinction." And in a post in 2022, they say the white man sits at the highest level of power in the world, the same way he has looted and abused black and brown people for profit, so has he the earth. White supremacy would rather take everything and everyone, including white people, with it than give up its hold. What have I just read? I don't really know. It's kind of crazy people say this stuff, but let's listen to the clip that is also going around.
And I say this because the climate crisis is not passive. The climate crisis is not a result of natural disasters. It's actually man-made. It's a result of...
Say it again, because I think they missed it.
The climate crisis is man-made. And it's not just man-made, it's white man-made. It is a result of capitalism, years of colonialism, years of racial oppression. And so, if you want to get involved, the way that we save our planet is when we protect the most vulnerable communities among us. And this includes Black trans women. This includes indigenous peoples. And this is why it includes children and young folk. Because when we protect them, then we can protect everybody else.
I mean, hey, look, man, I am very sorry. You know, us white men have caused everything. Notice how it's never anything good, by the way. It's always these made up bad situations. And by the way, isn't China the #1 polluter? They never complain about China. Never do. It's almost like, you know, these people, if they don't have anything intelligent to say wherever they go, all they have to say, oh, it's the white man's fault, and people in the audience, oh, this so stunning. This, give her all the money, give her all the events, let her speak at this event, that event over there. She said white men were bad. It also it also just shows you the intelligence of the people within the audiences that they clap and cheer at this. You know, it's crazy. But if this was the other way around, you know, there would be no clapping and cheering. There would be, oh, how dare he say such a thing? And he'd be cancelled, or she would be cancelled the very next minute. Everything taken from that person. The normalization of saying these sort of things is not good, and it's very concerning. But I guess, you know, this is one of the qualifications you need to become an activist, a famous activist. All you need to say, as I've been kind of reiterating, you know, just say white men are bad and they cause all these bad things to happen, and people will give you your flowers, you know, you'll be clapped, you'll be cheered, and you'll be made a celebrity the very next day. But leave your thoughts down below on everything we've discussed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it all. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, until tomorrow, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.